Matisse, you had to miss a lot of time, but you, over the last couple of weeks, have looked probably the freest, at least I've ever seen you play. Is that the same way you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. I missed a lot of game time, but had a lot of time to be in the gym. And over the various stages of the injury, it was just trying to maximize the opportunity to just get better. So the development staff did an amazing job of just creating opportunities for me at each level to push where I'd been previously. And I feel like it kind of showed with the 15 games I came back, just being more confident with the ball, dribbling, shooting, being a little bit more solid on defense, but just overall feeling like a better player, and huge testament to the development staff and their willingness to just pour into me even when I couldn't jump, couldn't run, but still finding ways for me to get better.
Chauncey said that the way they planned to play, he came into the season expecting you to have a big year, and then of course the injuries happened. And then of course, like Danny just said, you thrived the last few weeks here. Does that make you pretty excited to carry all that into next year and really expand your game and your role? And you do have an option, I think, on your contracts, but are you looking forward to having a full season doing what you do with this group?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I told most of the coaches in the locker room. It was just I can't wait to get a full season under our belts, because this whole year, especially as we forged our identity as being a defensive team, I was just chomping at the bit. Me and Roy are talking about how fun it would be to have me out there as well, imagining the lineups that we could throw together. So yeah, absolutely. Chauncey getting his extension is really exciting and definitely makes me optimistic for running it back with these guys. So.
Right before you came back from the injury, you said you weren't quite sure how you'd fit in with the group. Now that you had the 15 games, how did you see that play out?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't feel like we got a good look at our whole squad and how I fit into that. But as far as the guys who were available and how I was able to play with them, it felt great. And it was pretty seamless. Not super surprised. I feel like I've always just been that kind of player who can get in where he fits in. And I think just for me trying to elevate that and being able to do that a little bit this season was a good feeling.
From your vantage point, as someone with the team all the time but not necessarily playing until recently, what happened between the start of the season and now that turned some of the more recent results around?
I think in any team you have you try to forge this identity of who you want to be, and for us for a long time it only existed conceptually. This is who we want to be, this is who we claim we are. But over the course of the season, we were able to do it and improve it to ourselves. And I felt that just compounded on itself. And it just built this momentum that became this really beautiful thing. And then now it becomes clearer for guys where they fit in, how they show up. And instead of having to get guys to play a certain way, it became, this is just how we play. And if you step on the court, this is how you're going to do it.
A bit more of defensive qualities and mindset in this team compared to other teams and rosters you play with?
Do you say that again?
Do you feel like there's more of a defensive mindset and qualities in this group compared to other teams and rosters that you play with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even feel like we got to really explore the extent of our defensive lineups and what we could really do. Yeah, I mean, defensive mindset, it's a defensive identity. And it became this very contagious thing. And honestly, I think Tumani played a big role in that. When you can see someone have that much success and that much impact, it just becomes contagious. And everyone started to pick up on it, and it became, like I said, our identity.
Do you still have levels that you want to get to as a player and things you want to keep adding to your game?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like over this year, I felt more connected to the path of getting there than I ever have. And honestly, that just says a lot to our coaching staff and the development staff of just making me feel like there's a way to get better. Obviously, we can all sit here and look at the numbers and be like, oh, you could be better at this, this, and that. But how do you get better? And that's something that really sets coaches and development coaches apart, is how do you make a good player better? How do you introduce young players to the league and get them to fit into your offense? And yeah, they've done an amazing job with me, the young guys, and yeah, and you look at players like Denny, like I don't think I've seen a player get that much better over one season in my career, and just continuing to see like examples of that. Tumani last year to this year, myself in 15 games. So just, yeah, I think we're all super confident. We trust the coaching staff, development staff, and just continuing to feel connected to the process and that it works.
Do you recognize Chauncey's growth as a coach? Have you seen sort of how he's evolved?
Absolutely. I think the coolest thing for me is seeing how much more hands-on he's become, because when you have, like, all these coaches are here for a reason. They're brilliant and they've proved it over time. It's another thing to have a coach who is brilliant and has proved it, but also has done it as a player. So to have the coaches go over the play, but then have Chauncey grab the ball and then show you how it's supposed to be done, it just takes things to another level. And he does it on both ends, offensively and defensively. And his willingness to just continue to do that day in and day out and just grab an individual, like a specific moment, and make sure that it's what he wants it to be. And that creates this like level of accountability where it's like, okay, well, this, I don't know how old Chauncey is at this point. This guy can come in here and do it. Like, we have no excuse. So, yeah.
It's all fun and games till he pops something, right?
Right.
Geez, a couple of times, just here, you've said the young guys. You're not that old yourself, but do you find yourself kind of sliding into a leadership role? Because I've talked to these guys throughout the season. A lot of the young guys have mentioned coming to you, and despite you not being older, you're willing to impart on them, where some guys around the league see that as a threat. Is that a space that you think you've grown in?
For sure. It was uncomfortable, but I mean, I couldn't play. So at some point I had to figure out how am I going to stay engaged, and then how am I going to create an impact? And also learning just like for myself, like what are the things that I value being a part of this game? And a huge part of it is like community and feeling like you're a part of something important. And my way of creating that for myself was to pour into some of the younger players, and just seeing so many of them have similar struggles as me, and honestly a lot of them just fitting a similar archetype of just being like a next action defensive type of player, and trusting that I've seen enough of this to be able to impart something of value for them. And yeah, just trying to take advantage of those opportunities. And I mean, also to speak to like these guys, like we have a group where there's just no ego, and it's like the willingness to receive feedback is honestly a huge thing, because you got players who've seen a lot, they know a lot, but if the person you're talking to doesn't want to hear it, like there's no value to be exchanged. So these guys are extremely receptive, and they all want to get better, and they're all willing to learn and listen. So